Pakistan has always tried to fuel terrorism in Kashmir. Several defense experts have exposed the modus operandi of Pak-elements time and again. Recently, the founder and CEO of the Security and Foreign Policy think tank Usanas Foundation, Abhinav Pandya, wrote a book which explores the intricate workings of jihadi organizations and how money is raised for the purpose of orchestrating attacks in Kashmir. Abhinav, a PhD holder from Jindal School of International Affairs, examined the intricate and multi-layered network of terror funding in the region. We have this report.
A whole generation has passed since the partition between India and Pakistan, but Islamabad refuses to end Kashmir's obsession. The role of Pakistan in aiding terrorism in Kashmir is well documented, and now another effort has been made to expose how it finances terror in Kashmir. Abhinav Pandya, the founder and CEO of India-based security and foreign policy think tank Usanas Foundation, recently wrote a book on terror financing in Valley. His book Terror Financing in Kashmir delves into the intricacies of how funds are generated by jihadi organizations and used against India. Abhinav, who has completed his PhD on terrorism and counter-terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir from Jindal School of International Affairs, has analyzed the layered and complex web of terror financing in Kashmir. The book examines the role of multiple actors including formal and non-formal, state and non-state, local and international to delineate the various strands of an intricate financial system.
While working in Kashmir as a researcher for about 5 years, I realized that Pakistan has created a very sophisticated, layered, complex and refined network of terror financing in Kashmir, which was primarily and which continues to be primarily the main reason for the continuation of militancy in Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir for last 3 decades. Now it's more than 3 decades. And interestingly, most of our efforts so far were confined to kinetic measures like just doing with the military operations, the counter cordon and search operations, and all mostly confined to the military operations. But terror financing modules in Kashmir, they were the main crux, they were the main engine of this whole business of militancy in Kashmir. So I started writing this book, and this book is the first work which discusses at length how this terror financing network operates in Kashmir. And interestingly, this is based on a ground level research and ground level evidence gathering exercise.
While discussing the growth and evolution of Pakistan's proxy war in Kashmir, Abhinav talks about the non-state actors who are being used as Islamist warriors in India's neighboring country. Abhinav writes elaborately about the entire network of these non-state actors.
Pakistan has created something like a very complex machinery of terror funding. They created multiple sources of terror funding, and the idea behind was that if one source of funding is crushed, then they can activate the other source of funding. And if there's shortage of funds from one source, then they can regulate they can start activate other sources. In this context, one of the major sources of generating funds was zakat donations from Pakistan. And in this context, I would like to particularly emphasize how Lashkar-e-Taiba collects funds from Pakistan and how Jaish-e-Mohammed collects funds from Pakistan.
The book Terror Financing in Kashmir talks about Hawala and drug dealers working in countries like the UAE and how the Islamic tax, zakat and donations are being raised by terror groups in Pakistan. Interestingly, even the underground workers, members of separatist groups, former militants, weapon dealers, terror financing coordinators and Hawala operators were interviewed for details on terror financing. Abhinav in his book explains how Islamic charities by jihadi organizations like Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed in Pakistan play a central role in terror financing.
Lashkar-e-Taiba has a very significant and a very robust network of collecting zakat donations from Pakistan, and particularly on various festivals like Eid and other festivals, they collect these donations. And that people also donate the hides, the animal skins of the animals which are slaughtered on these festivals to Lashkar-e-Taiba. And the amount which they generate is terrific. It's significant, huge, in millions of dollars. I'm really bad with numbers. I'm forgetting the numbers, but for that you can refer to my book, Terror Financing in Kashmir, which has been released. But you'll find that these amounts are terrific, in millions of dollars. The amount of money which they raise from these donations. Likewise, Jaish-e-Mohammed has excellent network of madrasas and seminaries in South Kashmir, and they organize jalsas, the processions, where people make huge donations to their foundations, their seminaries, their madrasas, and all this amount, it constitute a big fund, big money, which ultimately goes into terror funding and orchestrating terrorist operations and radicalization missions in India and other parts of the world.
Pakistan wants to ensure the unending engagement of Indian security forces in Kashmir. For Pakistan, Kashmir constitutes an excellent outlet for the frustration at home. It is using the Kashmir issue as an instrument for the mobilization of the masses, as well as gaining the support of the Islamist parties. However, Indian security forces are committed to defeating the intentions of the adversary, and their efforts are providing enough space to carry on development activities in the Union territory.